Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the Chicken Box. Happy Thursday. Have you smiled today? Hopefully you have, because even if it's you feeling the way about whatever you feeling the way about, if you smile, sometimes it'll make you feel great and the people around you. I'm your host, Kevin Impeccable Peck, and welcome. Man, we're talking about something special today. Courtney, everybody likes to talk about, I'm going to whisper it, relationships. Anyway, it's black people versus relationship. How are we handling those relationships? And you know what? Sometimes we take the relationship straight to the kind of physical couple marriage kind of, but it's all kind of relationships that you have to deal with in life. And are you dealing with them? I'm talking about with your siblings, with your parents, with your coworkers, and of course, the relationship that you're either in, you want to be in, or you don't want to be in anymore. How you feeling today, Courtney? I'm feeling relational. I'm feeling like a couple ships are just.
I guess I'm feeling it a little bit, just a tad bit. It is the month of love, so I guess I'm a celebrator or whatever. But I'm great.
Black history and love at the same time as Black love happening. You see what's going on here?
Mhm.
What's I know you always like to say, what's the weather like today in Chicago?
Today we are about 26 degrees and sunny. Our high is about to be 31. So it's a nice day for a walk. Put on a scarf, some gloves, you'll be good.
Chi-Town in the building. If you've never tuned in, the Chicken Box is where you get to step on the box and speak your truth about whatever we're talking about or whatever you're feeling. If you're from Baltimore, of course, you know what a Chicken Box is. That's 4 greasy wings with some fries, some salt, pepper, some ketchup. If you're hungry, you're thinking about it right now. But next time you're in the area, get a Chicken Box. We're going to get into black people versus relationships. And the Chicken Box is powered by the Afro American newspaper. That's right, afro.com. Maryland's oldest black business and the third oldest black business in the country. Thank you for all your support and thank you for sharing afro.com and for the subscription that you've already bought. You see what happened there? All right. Anyway, we have a special guest today, Courtney. Can you just introduce our special guest? She's been here before, and she's a friend of the Afro, and she is our relationship guru.
Most definitely. Everyone, welcome Erica Alston Buck. Erica is a nationally recognized publicist, podcast host, columnist, and influencer who speaks on dating, romance, finding, and losing love. She has lived the ins and outs of being single, married, and she has interesting perspectives for love's toughest questions. She is also committed to empowering women to make their own choices, define success for themselves, and live their best lives, regardless of their marital status. So check out her column, Single in the City with the Afro.
Hey, Courtney. Hey, Impeccable.
Good morning, Erica. Welcome back to the Chicken Box. As you know, you are family here, and this is Black People versus Relationship, and this is the month. I think that people try to be on extra relational. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's because it's something that happens on the 14th, but and some people are on the 14th, they are sad. And then it's others who are trying to get out of some things so they don't have to do too much Valentine's Day. And then it's the game of all games is on. They got to travel for work or whatever else has to happen. But why don't you catch us up on your column in the Afro, and then just what's happening over there with you, Miss Erica? We want to know. The fans want to know too.
Well, the column is Single in the City. And I tried very hard to make certain that it's not just about being single. So it's about date night. It's about enhancing your relationships if you're in a current relationship. It's about continuing on the journey of self-care and self-love and learning more about yourself. So it's Single in the City, where I write, particularly I chronicle my weekly dating experiences. And I pair it with a restaurant review. I give local restaurants a dating rating. So if it's a restaurant that's good for a first date because you're able to have a conversation and get to know someone across the table versus a bunch of noise and chatter and not being able to have a conversation, maybe that's a second date. Maybe that's a date night date because you guys have been married all week and really don't have a lot to talk about. You want to go enjoy a great meal, maybe some live music. So it's the combination of dating advice, relationship advice, and great places to eat. Um, and because I chronicle my real life and my own dating experience, I am single in this city. Uh, I also give online dating tips because we are in a very different world right now. Our new normal, has a lot of social aspects. So there are a lot of people who've never ventured into online dating. So I help people write the best profile for themselves. I suggest what kind of pictures you should have or not have. Stop taking pictures with your dogs, ladies. Men hate those pictures. I talk about not just having those headshots because we can tell that you're hiding something. And when you enter the space of relationships, you don't want to start from a place that's not true. So I encourage all women to absolutely show full body shots because I personally, I'm 125 pounds. I read so many men's profiles that say, if you're not 165, if you got no meat on your bones. So the women who think that men are looking specifically for some slim woman, there are so many men out there with the notion that don't nothing with a bone but a dog. So show your whole self. Relationships are about transparency and vulnerability and about experiences and exposure and people enhancing the quality of the life that you currently live. So, so much happens in the column.
Terrence said his man doesn't love my cats. he, he's not gonna love me either. I said, well, that's what the pet lovers like to say.
You got to sneak the cats in on them. I've got 2 cats. They're not in my pictures.
Right,
They meet you, they love you, like, here are my cats.
right. Let's meet and go to dinner or whatever.
Right.
Is dinner considered the first date, first stop in a date? Would
An
you?
intentional engagement is a date.
Mm.
I think that like some thought needs to be put into how you want to introduce me to you and what you want me to gain from this experience. So it doesn't have to be dinner. I love dinner, but I don't consider meeting at a coffee shop or going to get an ice cream cone or meeting for a drink a date. I think that is in the world that we live in because people right now are so disposable. Like you can swipe left for 100 people. And I think coffee, dates, and drinks and appetizers are a quick way to swipe left. If you've I'm not a person that stays chatting online for a very long time. Um, that's an intro. I am very intentional about wanting to know that the person has read my profile instead of clicking great pictures, right? So men who respond to my profile by saying something that I've written is a check for me. The ones who stop on your pictures like, oh, your smile is beautiful, or like, you look so pretty. Those don't do a lot for me. Right? I want to know that you've taken at least a minute to read what I've written. And then I'm also not responding to people who don't write a profile. If you cannot take a couple of minutes to highlight the best versions of yourself in a profile, like, why are we here? So that.
So
So that.
you said a lot. If you just tuned in, this is Black People versus Relationships. This is not only Black History Month, but this is Black Love Month or any love month. You know what I mean? Because everything is not all black, even when you are black, because it is. You have mixed relationships. You have, as they used to say, or Spike Lee wrote a movie. You have the fever. Is it a fever? You know what I mean? When you have the jungle fever, or does it go down?
Oh, I've got
Does that
some
mean that
stories behind the fever.
get you sick a little bit when you get the fever? I don't know. Fever back in the day meant a lot of things. It was like, it was Fever Records. It was, it was a fever. Fever didn't always mean that you were in the pandemic and you were sick with something, but the jungle fever might have meant that your temperature went up for a different choice of outside of your race, and that's all fine.
A little swirl.
A little swirl, they say. Absolutely. Courtney, we are kind of a multi-generational show, and shout out to Dr. Draper, our fearless leader who's traveling today. And I represent the Gen X. I don't know what gen you are in, Erica, or if you're in my gen or you in the
I'm your Gen.
I put you in the millennium. There you go. Well, we got two Gen X's and the Gen Z. So relationships for us were different coming up than it is for those today. We had no Instagram, we had no Snapchat, we had none of these books or Twitters or anything else. Nobody was sliding in nothing. Nobody's DMs or any of those things. So Courtney, what is the relationship scene for Gen Z right now? You can ask for a friend even if you really want to say something.
Yeah, I remember we spoke about this like on the last discussion, and our generation is still stuck on the talking stages. Like you'll talk for literally like not even 3 months anymore. It'll be weeks, and then they'll get bored of you and be like, "Oh, okay, sorry, it's not working out," or they'll ghost you. Like you'll just be like, "Did I do something? Like what's going on?" You don't hear anything, so you just have to like take it and leave it. Like, okay, let me move on. But it's like it's hookup culture and ghosting people, and yeah, just like someone mentioned, like having people as disposable, and to me that's crazy. It's like, how do you expect to like settle down and like start a family one day if people you're just like, oh no, like this is what it is. So I don't know, it's confusing.
It's also multi-generational. Like that hookup culture is still 60-year-olds are still in that stage. Ghosting is happening with 50 to 60-year-olds. That I think is just a testament of the time that we're in. And back to people being disposable.
That crosses all lines. Huh?
Yeah.
So explain hookup, ladies.
Really? Go on, Courtney.
I'm saying for somebody who doesn't know, they might be watching. I don't assume everybody knows what hooking up is.
You know what? So hooking up is meeting up just for a physical experience only. A physical experience only.
Okay.
But Courtney will be able to help me with this because this is multi-generational. This does not have to do with any subculture. What's happening right now in this hookup culture is people, I was about to say men, well, men in particular, will talk to, chat with, hold conversations. Good morning, beautiful you. Check on you during the day. For weeks. Meet you, hook up, and ghost you. Even when they're saying that they're looking for a relationship, you're the only person I'm talking to. You feel that there's a connection and there's chemistry. You feel that there's something authentic. Their only goal is to hook up. So what I tell women in particular, because this happens on both sides, you can have some 90-day rule. You can have some 6-month rule that you're not going to have any physical interactions with anyone. We're going to talk for 90 days. I'm going to see him for 6 months, not until I meet his friends. Whatever rule you put in place, he will still hook up with you and ghost you. He'll do it on the 91st day. So you can wait 90 days. And men are going to play the game and slow walk you the entire time. On day 91, he will get it and leave. So dating right now, Black people versus relationships, it is versus all of the games, all of the obstacles and challenges and all the information that we have to have. We've got to arm ourselves and just be out here really like a detective trying to figure out, is this person really interested in me, or is this a hookup? And it is so very, very hard to tell. So I say you have to be honest with yourself and say, if I decide to do this, I need to be okay with this being the first and last time, because it very well may be. So it's hard out here on these streets.
Hmm.
You agree, Courtney?
Yeah, in Gen Z, it's weird. Like we have this whole like I'm not gonna say we because I don't do it, but have you heard about like city girls versus city boys? So people literally get like this, I don't know, some type of pleasure out of playing people. So
Mhm.
you'll play someone and then they're like, oh, city girls up or something. So they'll literally brag and boost about like finessing someone or just like playing someone. And I'm like, that is the weirdest thing to me. Like you should have honest intentions. And I guess in Gen Z, everyone has like a sneaky link and you know, like the Netflix and chill thing. So it's the same
Mhm.
thing, just like different terms for it.
I'm just sitting here learning, guys. I've been out the game. I'm on my third and final marriage, and I guess I did. I think I was never really the hookup kind of person, but and just leave, like, and just ghost, and just I mean, if if it was a ghost, it was a hey, goodbye. It wasn't like a silence.
No, we're talking about ghosting. So
Where my men
Kevin,
at, fellas?
because now you're on your third and final marriage. You at one point in your life you did have, I'm going to assume, at some point you were of the hookup culture. Do you have advice? I'm looking at Taryn's question. Like, what can men say to women to avoid being a one night stand? To avoid being a hookup?
I
What do
think
we need to do?
I mean the game for a lot of men is they think they get the prize if they're able to sleep with the person, right? Um, and sometimes they're doing it as just a game. You know what I mean? As kind of like to see how much I can play the game. But then other things, and I'm trying to get I'm trying to mix personal with talking about men as a whole because every man is kind of different to a point. Some men they don't have they're in the game, but they don't have any game. so,
Oh my
so,
gosh.
they're so shallow in their approach, or their approach is corny to ladies, or
Mm-hmm.
they have nothing else to talk about. They are, they are superficial in their approach. But then sometimes some of the women are, I don't know if I'll say desperate, but they want to hook up really anyway, you know, and they give you the hookup sign, but then you think it's just a hookup, but they really want a relationship. But the signals were not okay. I want a relationship. Sometimes it was okay. Let's hook up and see if we can make this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm saying it right, Taryn, I'm trying to get to your question, but I'm learning because I'm out of the culture of I'm listening to what I mean. I got kids, who from anywhere from high school to just graduated from college, so I can hear their stories, the ones they share, because they probably don't even want you to know that they even hooking up, if they are hooking up, because nobody tells the parents, hey, you know what, I'm having sex now, ma, and that's I just wanted to let you know. For me, it was like, next time the lady goes out your basement at 3 a.m, Kevin, just walk her around the front. Don't have her go out in the alley. That's when I was like, in high school, I was like, oh snap. Did you hear the gate or something when you went out the back? But I mean, it's just a total different. It's the same, pretty much. It's probably the same. And it's women who'd like to just hook up as well. It's
There
not
are.
just it's not just the men, and it's women who will go. I got some friends who'd be like, "Yeah, I was talking to her on the chat, and some. And all of a sudden, we were supposed to go out, and she just ghosted me." So,
Mhm.
I think people have a low tolerance for getting to know a person, right? And they don't want to get on the boat, and the boat is the ship, and so
Mhm.
it's the relationship. I don't even know if they want to get on the friendship boat. I don't even know if they want a fellowship. I don't know what ship that
I think
these.
I think the underlying common denominator is companionship. Like everyone is seeking companionship. And it's just the level of degree of companionship that people are willing to be in. Um, we weren't created to be alone, right? And you said something about desperation, and I believe that loneliness and desperation allows many of us to make decisions that we would not make had we not been lonely in that moment, had we
Right.
not allowed what other people's relationships look like
Right.
dictate to us what we want to be in. Because people need to understand that too in the social media world that we live in. Like people post the highlights. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
People post the highlights of their life. No one's posting. He gets on my nerves. I can't. We're sleeping in separate beds. We're married and we haven't had sex for 6 months. Like people aren't saying that. They're showing their matching pajamas and holding hands, skipping through the tulips. But no one's showing the work that that it takes to have a healthy relationship. And while I say healthy, it's also very important to understand that there are people out here looking for other people to make them happy. Like that's never going to happen. So like my biggest advice to anyone is when you're dating, you got to show up as your whole self. Like you have to have your own friend group. You have to have your own interests, your own hobbies, your own work, your own life. And I think what we're looking for is for someone to enhance what we've already had. Because we have it innately, all of us have what we're looking for. We're just looking for someone to share it with. And if we're showing up a half a person looking for the other half to be whole, that's going to be toxic and codependent. And those are the things that may last forever. And do you want to be in that? So I think now we're Black people versus relationships, it is us versus what we really want, and understanding that you can have whatever you want if you're willing to take the time to wait for it, go through multiple dates, be on multiple sites, like broaden your pool, and just know that everyone's not showing up the same way that you are. And I think that's huge. Like some people are here to play, and that's male and female. Have I ghosted people? Absolutely. Again, because we're in a culture where people are disposable. I never have to see you again. I've never met you in person. We've only been chatting on the phone. I find out people's last names from a dating site, and I block them on my social media first because I don't want you to be a part of anything that I am doing outside of, being a person that talks about relationships and dating. Like I'm probably the worst person in the world to date. They know if something goes wrong, you're going to end up in a column, you're going to end up on a podcast. So I think there's so much out here for us to look at, to think about how we approach this, how we navigate through it.
I'm glad you said companionship.
Yeah.
That was one of the boats that I forgot about. Courtney,
Yeah.
Courtney,
I think that's the driving factor of all of them.
absolutely, because the sexual ship that ain't lasting all. I mean, you can say it's lasting all night. It's not. Okay.
It ain't.
Surprise. Check the clock next time. See how serious you really are. But it's the whole intimacy, and
Yeah.
do you know, and that's a different stage in the relationship. Do you even get to the intimacy that's beyond just the sexual piece? You know what I mean? Is where does the whole, and that gets to if you really want to be around a person. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If your feet are just touching it in the middle of the night, you know what I mean? Or if y'all just in the same room, you doing one thing, he's doing another thing, but you're still in the same room.
Mhm.
And moving on. And I like how you brought up people can't be authentic and say, hey, I'm really in the play mode. Are you?
Yeah.
I'm in the play mode too. Okay. No,
Yeah.
they don't
Let's
say
play. Right.
that. I'm in a serious mode and you're in the play mode and I don't have time for you. Or okay, we're both in the play mode. Let's play. Okay, I'll meet you in Phoenix for the Super Bowl. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
in Vegas. Courtney, what questions are you? I want to hear what your questions are about this relationship scene these days.
Yeah, Erica, you mentioned like some deal breakers that you had like prior to getting in a relationship. So like while
Mhm.
you're in a relationship, what are some deal breakers for you?
So I'm not clingy. Like I just said that the healthiest relationships, people are going to show up as their whole self. I show up with a lot of work to do, right? I'm a parent and an involved parent. Like I still go to games, I still show up on campus. I am self-employed. I write this column. I've got friends. So I am not the person that, and you know this when we start dating. You know this before we start dating. So because one in my profile, I say I'm very busy. So for me, and I'm self-soothing. I like my own company. I'm the person that you see sitting at the bar eating dinner alone. I'm good with me. So the person that I choose to date needs to be a little more interesting than I am because I can hang out with myself, right? So and they need their own life. Like so, the first deal breaker for me in it is when you become clingy. You don't have to call me 10 times a day. I'm certainly not calling you 10 times a day. Um, I like a good morning text. I like a midday check-in. We can go to dinner later, but I don't need to be with you all the time. And I don't need to be out with you and your friends. Like I've got my own friends. So that is one. Um, what I've, I'm 52, and I date anywhere from 35 to 65. What I found is uh, the representative shows up early, right? And you can wine and dine me. My favorite restaurant is Capitol Grill. We can go and have the, $120 appetizer, while we're having fun. But then in a relationship, you want to cook and stay home and not go out. But you met me and I'm out, 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 out. So when you begin to change the dynamics of how this started, that's a deal breaker for me because I need you to be the same person that I initiated this with because I'm in this relationship with you based on who I met, right? Um, I don't like passive aggressive. Like I am assertive. I am independent. I like a man, and I make major decisions in my professional and personal life. 99% of the day, I am the one making major decisions. I don't need you asking me, what should I wear? Where should we go? Do you like this? Send me a link and tell me where to be at 7 p.m. and I am going to be there. So once we're in, you can start off as an alpha male in the beginning, and then we're in it and you're super passive. And I know that things change based on how people emotions and the level of intimacy changes. And then you add sex to the equation. So things change. What I have seen impeccable is that how women once were, men are now. You know, there was a time when like women, you say, have sex with her 3 times, she's gonna say you're in a relationship. Oh, that's men now. Like, I'm not in a relationship with you until we've had a conversation about being in a relationship with each other. And I'm not exclusive with you until I've said that I'm exclusive with you. So if you take the men are making major assumptions because sometimes we do show up to play and
Right.
it's okay. So yeah, those are my deal breakers. Men who have children, Courtney, and I don't see you engaged with them, talking to them, right? That's a deal breaker for me in the relationship because if before we started, oh, my kids in college, I do this, and then I never even see you talking to them, or there's never a phone call when I ask, hey, what you doing? And, hey, me and my daughter are out at dinner. Like, I need to see men engage with their children. I think
That's good.
those are like the major ones because I think everything else, unless it messes with your principles or your core beliefs, everything else is workable. So being a bad parent, that's against my principles. That's my core beliefs. Like especially a black man, like you really need to be engaged with your parents. Like a part of the reason that the violence and the stuff is happening is there's no one's taking care of us, right?
Mhm.
So that I think those would be my major ones. And because I'm a publicist, right, and I'm super social, and I got to be done up most of the time. Like a deal breaker for me is probably all of a sudden now you're a slob because I really need to be able to say, you know what, the state's attorney just asked us out for drinks. And can you meet me there at 7? And you're like, oh, I'm at Walmart, in my Timberlands. Like, no. So I need somebody that's on. And what I also, because I was in my quest, I thought that I needed someone that could, hang with me on Pennsylvania North Avenue and hang with me on Pennsylvania Avenue at the White House in DC. And because that's the kind of person I am. But now I realize, like, because that's mine.
Everybody can't be yelled at jail.
That's right. That's right. And but my problem is I meet more of the people that can hang with me on Pennsylvania Avenue in DC versus those in Pennsylvania. Cheryl, that can hang in Pennsylvania Avenue in DC versus here. And so when I have those events that require me to hang out with Mookie and Man and them in Sandtown, like maybe that, so I was doing that. But that doesn't work for me. I really need someone with balance. So Courtney, another deal breaker for me is once we're in, there's not this balance that you can, handle both sides of the street. I don't like that. And that's really like maybe at the top of my list, because I meet educated, cultured, traveled, articulate men who've been places and done things. And then we're somewhere and they're clutching their pearls. Like I can't do that. So yeah.
So I think to each his own, right? And you having a podcast, every woman is different.
Yeah.
Right. Because your energy might not match the other lady. So Courtney, how is that a contrast to your life?
What your deal breakers are?
What's your deal breakers, Courtney?
For me, I would say I'm more like patient and nurturing. So I would say for me, I don't like people who stretch the truth about things. I've had that happen in the past. Like some dude told me he had like a yacht or something, and then I found out like, okay, that's clearly not the truth. So just like stuff like that, it's like, just be honest. I don't like Erica mentioned, like clinginess. It's okay to be like close, but I start thinking it's a red flag if they're calling you like 10 times a day. I get scared. I'm like, okay, this is not normal. But I'm trying to see what else. Hygiene. I'm very big on hygiene. Like someone has to be hygienic, like nails clean, like toes clean. That you regularly like wash your clothes, your space is clean. That's something I will get rid of you like so fast if you aren't clean. And someone who is like goal oriented. I can't be with someone who doesn't have goals and they don't have like a bigger vision for themselves. I can't be with someone who's lazy because no, that's not cool. But yeah, that's about it for me. I'm very like open-minded. So I guess too, like when I tell someone like, please don't do this, like you're disrespecting my boundaries, and they keep doing it, no, I'll get rid of it.
Yeah, that's a good one, because I'm not a PDA person, so at all. And so that is a clear boundary for me. Don't do that in public. So someone who challenges that for me, I can't do that.
So for those listening, PDA, public displays of affection, guys. Just in case. I'm not saying everybody knows what a PDA. They might think it's some new drug. I'm not a PDA person, okay? Just don't bring that PDA around me. Don't bring that drug around me, okay?
Partly because when I'm in public, I'm still working.
Right.
And I don't know who's in the room with this many followers and people that contact me via social media because they follow my work or whatever. I need to make certain that I'm having fun, I'm respectful in public, I'm doing things, and I write a column, Single in the City, like you messing up my chances.
So let's talk about public displays of affection. And when does that come into a relationship? Or does maybe for you, okay, it never comes in a relationship, or maybe it comes when you're not in maybe a work environment or out of town, or I don't know. When does that come into the relationship, guys?
A peck at dinner, a hand, like subtle, like, but in large spaces with many people, no. I don't do that.
You don't show
I
up
ain't
and just.
kissing at the club. I'm not.
How about you, Courtney?
Yeah, I'm with Erica. Like, it has to be respectful because I've been at the club a few times and I'm like, yeah, you can't do that here. So I think as long as it's like appropriate and nothing like over the top, because people
Yeah,
are watching, and also like if your partner is like inappropriately like touching and stuff, I feel like that's disrespectful.
absolutely. We agree.
Absolutely. Well, and then in the married world, it's fine all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, dear, or
Uh-huh.
whatever. When you see each other, you hug and I don't know if you just, tongue down the throat and that's still, I don't know how appropriate that is.
You see, Taryn, you better wear me like arm candy.
Terrence likes the PDA, baby. That's an argument. It's for some ladies, it's an argument. It's like,
Yes,
are we
it is.
really together? Because when we were out, you acted like we were together. Let's
I don't need that.
is that the passive guy? Is that the shallow Hal? The guy who
That needs to have that to claim his space, his territory. She's with me.
yeah.
And so on the flip side of that, alpha man, I want you across the room. I'm across the room. We know we're together. And that is sexy hot to me. I don't need that. Like, I know that we're together. And
That's all that matters.
and if you're with someone that other people aren't attracted to, like, sorry. I think that other people should be attracted to you.
What did somebody just say? Let's see. Rhonda. Hey Kevin, interesting. PDA is fine with me. Married 10 years. Listen, once you marry, you better keep that PDA.
You better.
You better keep the PDA up, and you better keep a lot of things up. Me and my wife were watching a Chris Rock special the other night, and I'm not gonna say the word he used, but he said you better be having sex all the time. Okay, once you get married, that sex engine, you better keep it revved up. Married couples. Make sure and change the room sometimes. Change the move.
I'm sorry, my crowd's getting loud behind me. Sorry.
I know you're in a public place, Erica, but this is Black People versus Relationship, powered by the Afro American News. This is Chicken Boxx, and we have our expert. I don't know if you've seen her column. Go to afro.com. There she is, our beautiful Erica Austin Buck. She's single in the city. Now this last episode, if you haven't been to afro.com, we're gonna get into this a little bit, Erica, because you always single. You talking about the date, how it was, or what they did, what they didn't do, but he found me, and the Bible says, "He that findeth, you know what I mean, a good thing, you know what I mean, he finds something from God, and so you got to be found, ladies." I was talking to somebody else the other day, and I was like, "You can't be found in your house, just
No.
just just in case you think that unless the UPS man or Amazon is going to knock on your door, and that's going to be your dream guy, you know."
Oh, you cannot be found in them COVID leggings and that bonnet. Like, get yourself together. Like, he might be at the gas station when you go get your gas. He might
Might
be at
be
the bank.
not the guy asking, "Can he pump me gas for $1?" That guy, but you
Not
know
the,
what? But don't count him out. Just he might be good. He might just have been, had a rough bump or something. But anyway, seriously though,
sorry. We're going to talk about hey, Tony, that's, one of the viewers for the podcast.
what's up,
We're going to
Tony?
talk about the one who found me, right? Super excited. If you read that article, you are excited for me and you are ready for this week's column. Hold tight.
Hold tight. I mean, maybe we should have read a little bit of it. Should have.
So let me tell you, I I don't visit I'm on two dating apps. I'm on Facebook dating and I'm on Match.com. I don't typically do free dating apps, right? When we talk about disposable people are more disposable when you're not paying $75 a month to be there, right? So I do the free and my paid because I need to be able to write from a place or have experience that are from both spectrum. So Facebook dating is my free one and Match.com is my paid. Um, And I don't like I'm busy. I say that I'm out and I'm about. So I'm usually scrolling both apps 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's time for me to go to bed. Oh, let's see. Like right now, I've got like 6,000 messages. It's nutty.
Wow.
And so I scroll every now and then. I hit the heart that, oh, I like you too. So I hit a heart and I get this response, and the person says, I've been waiting to match up with you for so long. He says like something really sweet. He's read my profile, and his response to me liking him was, I liked it. We began chatting. And I tell you, I don't text for a long time. I go from text to phone because I believe anyone who's listening and online dating, I believe that you can begin liking a person or having interest in a person via text and before phone calls, and then you meet in person and it's not the same. The energy isn't the same. So I want to get to that as quickly as possible. I don't want to begin liking you or finding interest in you, planning my life, because that's what women do. Picking
Women,
my
women planning
wedding
their
color
life. When
over
did that
text
happen?
messages.
Just kidding.
So we chatted for a while. We talked for a while, no, not even for a while, a couple of days. And he asked me to dinner the very next day. I love that. I have talked to men one day and hang up the phone, and there is a link asking me to go to dinner on Friday. I love it. I take the lead. I'm on it. So he asked if he could take me to dinner. I say yes, and I actually allowed him to pick me up from my office. I've been Ubering to my office, and he showed up with flowers, Courtney, and we went to dinner and we had a great time. And flowers are my favorite thing. I buy myself flowers every week. The world knows that you want to get my attention. Feed me, send me flowers. So he's checking all the boxes. He's attractive. He's my age, one child, like check, 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 check. And dinner was great. And dinner was so great, he asked me to dinner the next night. And dinner was so great, he asked me to dinner the next night. And on one of those nights, I get back to my hotel and he gets home. He calls, just making sure you're okay. And it was one of the nights that I'm sad, right? I've been in this hotel for 4 months. I want to go home. And he says, would you like me to come back there with you? Yes. So
Hello.
yeah,
Is it
I'm
me
like,
you're looking for?
this is what and then so that happens and we're flowing. And then we have the governor's ball. And everyone knows what well, not everyone, well, people who follow me knows that, you know, I didn't particularly like what he had on. And it really rubbed me. And that, and I don't, so I was about to say, I don't know why, but I'm in therapy and I think all Black people should be in therapy. Kudos to being in therapy. I went
Kudos.
to a therapy session and I'm saying the same story to my therapist. And I said, I don't know why I was so disappointed in like, how he was dressed. And my therapist said it's because I created a fantasy in my head of what I wanted him to show up like.
Mm,
Isn't it
that's good.
something?
That's good.
And when he didn't meet my fantasy, I disappointed myself. That man didn't do anything. So then, because he checked every box, he's attentive and considerate. But that's important to me too, Courtney. The way that you treat other people, the way that your friends see you, the way that like he answers his phone on Bluetooth, and how people interact with him. Like there's no chaos, there's no confusion. So all of those things that mean more
So
to
he has
me,
good vibes pretty
right,
much all the time.
all the time.
Right.
So then my column this week is another look, second chances without settling. Because I think sometimes we allow tiny things that are not important or superficial or maybe materialistic. Um, you hear people, I don't like the way he chews. Like when people start to annoy you, like I think as responsible relationship seeking people need to one keep the focus on ourselves, right? When I look at what is wrong with Erica, like what are people going to complain about? Like what are men saying about you that have dated you? Like um,
They don't have a pod. They don't have an Erica podcast yet. How many of these guys are around? They can all come together. Right?
So it was very important for me to like take in what my therapist said, reevaluate all of it, look at what my deal breakers are, because Courtney, none of those deal breakers, right? Like what happens when you're in it. He didn't break any of those. He is a PDA person. However, my compromise is I'm good at Capitol Grill and a pack. I just don't want to be in public work environments and have people claim me. That's not cool for me. So yeah, so I think so now I'm taking that he found me person.
That was a good Erica. I mean, you guys started out right. And you went to probably the premier governor's ball that's ever been of governor's balls. So you went. I was there, so I can I can relate with everything you're saying. So what is good that you shared that it really wasn't that serious, but the seriousness was of who you are in society.
Yeah.
So and it was okay. If you are with Erica, you must be this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you probably were saying, and I could be wrong, you probably were saying, if you see me with a guy, he's going to be whatever, like this. He's going to check every fashion box. He's going to check every gentleman box. He's going to check every, whatever the word is that women say now, fine, cute, whatever, gorgeous, whatever, handsome, all of those boxes as well. You're going to be like, damn, I see why. And then the other man going to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess dude got to get you.
With that, who is that for?
Huh?
Who is that for? So if that's my requirement, or that's
that was an unknown requirement probably to him. He didn't know it,
right?
And you probably didn't get dressed together because you don't live together. You're dating for 7 days or however long you've been in there, and he's now at the governor's ball.
I think we got about 16 days now.
Right. So you didn't even. He didn't have He showed up, probably picked you up. Well, y'all, you didn't get to give him a, hey, I don't really like those shoes or whatever it was. You didn't give him a chance because he might have changed them had he to just to make you feel comfortable. If you felt really uncomfortable in a way, is it we probably need
but then shame on me for making that so important. Like
right, yeah, that
right in the whole scheme of things, like is that important? Like why do I care so much about what other people see? And it goes to what my career. I am a publicist, so there is a part of that is my work.
So he was an artist at that moment, and not really your date.
Right.
He was like your PR client, and it was like you go to the stylist. This is what you should wear. Maybe he should have seen Kevin Scott or one of the other stylists in the city. But hey, brother, I'm on your side. It was a minor, but good thing about it is you didn't ghost her, did you? Let's see how the story. Did you ghost after? I mean, did you ever tell him how you actually felt?
No, he tuned in and he heard me publicly say it, and then that made me feel bad. Right, because there's a reason why I don't tell people about my column or what other things that I do in this relationship space, because I need to have an even playing field. Because if men see she's a romance columnist for the Afro, she got her stuff together. Don't be expecting me to have all the answers.
But at least you are authentic in the situation. You like when you said earlier on social media, everybody tries to edit their life. Even when they selfie and okay, let me take it from this angle. Turn around. I need more light over here. I didn't like my face on that one. Cut me off. Don't shoot my stomach. Shoot down, not up. I don't want to double chin. All of these things that you try to edit your life, but real life isn't really editable. But the really important part about probably how this relationship was going to be stronger is that you were willing to admit that it was that you were flawed in this particular area of thinking, and that you apologize, because nobody really publicly wants to hurt somebody's feelings.
No,
because even if we don't all know them, what I mean. I don't know if you guys posted a picture together, and when does that ever happen? Because some people start dating, and before you know it, their profile picture is now me and him. It's like,
Not doing it.
when did that happen? You know what I mean? So,
So
all right,
someone's asking me what I think Tony asked. He sent me a text message, Tony, that said my shoes were not cheap and neither was my pocket square. So let me know that one, he heard that I said that, and two, they weren't. So that is what he said.
So what made you think, all right, this might be a thing, and some ladies, it might not be a thing. What made you think his shoes were cheap?
Because I know cheap shoes.
I mean, like some people could just have the wrong.
You know what? So
thing.
it's back to the fantasy in my head. Like probably because they weren't Ferragamo. Like,
Every shoe is cheap compared to not being fair.
but it's black tie and how to Westmore and they celebratory chic is what the description for the attire was.
Right.
Westmore did a whole video to tell men what to wear. Dawn did a whole video to tell us what to wear. And so they were like square tipped. They probably maybe dated. Maybe dated.
That was it. They
Dated.
probably weren't cheap, but
not cheap.
men, if you're still wearing the square fronts, they are.
Yeah.
Just give them all
Okay.
away. Like when the
Thank you for
Salvation
asking that
Army
question. That's what it was.
I don't even think square's gonna come back in our lifetime. Just
No.
let the square longer tip shoe.
Yeah.
Let it go. Okay.
That's what it was. They were square.
Right. So they probably weren't cheap. Okay. It was just they were in the wrong era. They weren't ready for this stuff in this ball. I don't think Courtney, you know about the square?
No, before our time. Nope.
Long, they sort of could be masters cowboy boots with square toes. Anyway, this is the Chicken Boxx. This is Black people versus relationships. We're on with our relationship guru Erica Alston Buck, who has been displaced. We're praying for your home to be your pipe, fire, all of these things. To live in a hotel for 4 months, and I travel a lot. It's just done. It's kind of like you run out of place. I'm over it. Your stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're over it for a while, for a little bit, but it's a lot. It's some things you like about it, but it's not the same.
I like that when I go back to my room, someone's made my bed and cleaned.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some things that you do. You do.
I like that there's a bar, a fully staffed bar in my lobby.
Right. Nice new people. You probably the resident friend. Yep. You know all of the housekeeping and all of
everyone.
Everybody knows who you are.
So guests come in. Guests will see me at the bar and they'll say, "What department do you work in?" Because of how the staff talks to me, they think I work.
So, but all through that, you have still maintained this relational single in the city, which you still are, even though he found you.
I'm still single.
I'm pulling for you, homie. I don't even know who you are. Do I know who he is?
Nope.
Is he from Baltimore? No? Okay. So she's not telling. Anyway, one day, maybe next year, if he's still around, she'll say, we'll finally introduce you to you. And then we'll have a whole laugh about the shoes. But get rid of the shoes. Anyway, man, thank you everybody who's tuning in and just following along. And in relationships, we're talking about in being in love kind of relationship, but it's all other relationships, and we don't have time to get into your relationship with your parents, with your children, with your with your coworkers, and how you relate in other situations. But do you show up as your authentic self in all relationships, or are you like Erica said, is the representative always out there, and you really haven't been able to really shake your 10-year-old self, because when certain things happen to you in a certain way, you're not 50 or 40 or 30 anymore. You're now 10. You can, and you're having a tantrum, but we didn't know you were 10 because your representative was out. So we got about 10 minutes or a little less. So let's get on the box. It went so fast. We were having so much fun. And when you get on the box show, the Chicken Boxx, of course, we said if you just tuned in, it's full wings and fries. But here on the actual Chicken Boxx, where you can speak your truth. So we're gonna go around, Courtney. Just speak your truth about this relationship, or whatever you feel and whatever you got to say about these relationships. Are you in a relationship?
Yes. As of New Year's
7 days.
since New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Hey, that's
New
like
Year's Eve, that's a great day.
that's 32 days, Courtney. 33 days.
I hope it's longer.
Okay, so we got a Valentine. Yay!
Finally.
That's good. That's a big smile. You know, when you are happy, look at that smile, y'all. You know, when
Uh-huh.
that's a genuine hey, you know what I mean? That's a genuine Erica's is genuine too. She checked the box. I don't know his name. We're gonna call him Mr. Right for now. But all right, Courtney, you're in the box. I'm sorry.
Erica, thank you so much for joining us today. It is always a pleasure having you on. You are hilarious, and I greatly appreciate your advice. During the month of love, I hope that everyone spreads more love and not the player vibes. Like, we need to leave that in 2022 and just spread love, kindness, and, you know, just be your authentic self, like Impeccable said. I feel like that's essential because if you are in a relationship with someone, if this representative, like, you know, it comes down, you know, it's not right to play with someone's emotions and waste someone's time. So during this year, I hope that it's just more genuine vibes and intentions. And yeah, I'm off the box.
Man, I'm gonna let you go last, Erica. I think relationships are key to how you interact in your everyday life, and I think learning yourself, especially as a man, and who you are, if you have any kind of spiritual base, who you are in God will help guide your decisions. Because who we are as a man, generally made up, we are not made to kind of be monogamous. I think as men, they as men who haven't found God, we are all over the place. We have no direction. We have no, blueprint on how to love. And when the Bible says love your wife as Christ loved the church, if you don't even know who he is, if you don't know who God is, you definitely can't be in a relationship because you haven't a clue. They don't teach it in school. You're not gonna find it at a college course unless they popped up all of a sudden. You got people like Erica, and you got therapists out there, and you got relationship coaches and things of this, but you still have to seek that out. So I think as you enter these different relationships, you have to realize first who you are. You're not looking for happiness. You got to find some joy inside yourself. And once you find that joy inside yourself, then in fact you can find, fellas, like Erica said, he found me in the column. Then you can find what you're looking for. And you can even say, hey, God, look, I'm looking for this. Most guys are looking for something. They ain't even asked for any guidance. So a little guidance, fellas. This is 56-year-old Impeccable. 25-year-old Impeccable probably definitely was not saying this. He was hitting his head on the cabinet every time he stood up because of the mistakes that he was making. But on the third and final marriage, I found a relationship that is meaningful, lasting, and can be in all parts of life. That my old pastor used to say, if you can't say where you are, then you're probably doing something you don't need to be doing. If you can't share what you're doing with whoever it is that you say that is the number one, you're probably into something that you don't need to be into. So I'm off the box, y'all. This has been a fantastic day. We're going to let Erica, again, single in the city, go to afro.com. We are the oldest Black business, 130 years in Maryland, and we look for young, wonderful talent that we have to pay in order to keep a 130-year-old business. If you just started your business, you realize how hard it is to get to year two. Nobody owns us. Fox doesn't own us. Viacom doesn't own us. We get to speak the truth, inform, inspire, and educate for the culture, for our Black culture, all over the world every week. So go to afro.com and get your subscription. That's a good start, and get involved in so many other things. But Erica, you are on the box. It's always a pleasure having you here, and thank you again for being authentically you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. So anytime you want to chat with me, I'm available. I think we talked about companionship. We talked about loneliness and desperation. we are on the end of the holiday season, and now we're venturing into, we're in the month of love. I think it's most important for us to think about other people and that we navigate this world being kind, because there are people that are really sad, that are lonely. When we talk about not being created to be alone, and there are people that are seeking and searching and not being found or not finding. So be kind. In that, as uh, we, as single people, approach, this desire, this need to be in relationships, to have companionship, I think it's very important for us to look through a lens, that we are not comparing our insides by other people's outside. Do not allow your marital status or your relationship status to dictate who you are or how you feel about yourself. It's a-okay to be single. And maybe it's a-okay for a single person with options to say that. But when we internalize that we have what we need, that another person is not going to give us what we need, that we should show up as our best healed, whole versions of ourselves, seeking other people to enhance what we already have. I think it changes the perspective of need versus want and relationships. So if you're single approaching Valentine's Day, consider creating a Galentine's Day event. Get your girlfriends, take yourself out to dinner, buy yourself a card, buy yourself flowers. Not just buy yourself flowers, like send yourself flowers, send yourself a card, do things for yourself. We may not, I didn't have matching pajamas and for Christmas with someone. I didn't kiss someone under the mistletoe. I didn't bring in the new year with someone. So now we approach Valentine's Day. Do I have a Valentine? Maybe, maybe not. Just don't make what you see the world as happy. Don't define your happiness by what you think other people are defining as happiness. And I hope that resonates and helps someone. It's okay to be single. And if you're single, please follow my column in the Afro, Single in the City. It's always a pleasure to be here. I wish everyone love, light, and happiness.
Peace and soul. If this has been the Chicken Boxx, boom. This is Black people versus relationships. We didn't get into all of the ships, but get some companionship, get to learn yourself, and it's just scroll down. Call a loved one. It's a senior in your family who they don't want to text. Stop sending them texts. Pick up that phone for 5 minutes and tell them what's going on with your life and that you're thinking about them. Believe me, it's going to change their whole week because they don't have a lot going on until as you think they do, as you do, and sometimes they're the last thought. So the word for the day: if you haven't smiled, everybody, let me see that big smile. It is beautiful. If you're there it is. There it resonates with everybody. Everybody likes to smile, and even the non-huggers like a virtual hug. So until next time, God willing, we will see you on the Chicken Boxx. And it's Black History Month, which is Black History Year, which is Black History Day, and Black History second every day at the Afro American newspaper. Thank you, everybody, and have a fantastic week.